assume we're live, but I'll let you know when we're actually going.
Cool.
All right. There we go. Let me pull up the link and blast it out. We look good.
Cool. All set to do the same thing. So.
Oh, I guess the link is already up, so.
Oh.
Well, not the official link, so here. Come join us, talk horror news now. I mean, that was just the channel link. So here, I'll send you the link via Facebook if you want it. There you go. Guys, give us 1 second. We're just blasting all this out to everyone.
All over the place.
All over your face, neck, and chest, as Kevin Smith would say.
Shout out.
I still can't believe we missed him by just a factor of hours that day.
Terrible. La travestie.
Terrible. All right, so this is going to be our first remote news, right? I'm not mistaken.
I know we've had like a news bite, perhaps, in the past, but nothing quite like these. So.
All right. Cool. Well, we're already starting to get people filtering in, so that's good. Make sure it's all... You know what? I don't want to tax the system. I'm not going to have that going, too. So I'm going to close the auto windows. Just keep it up so I know how many people is watching. And I can close that as well. Got the pop-out chat. Good to go. What up, Wences? Good to see you. Oh, let me get this microphone a little closer to me. That's probably better. Joshua Sarantine is here. Zachary Haith, Robert Duell, and Javier Lerma. What up, everyone? Some douchebag in Fuegotainment is also in the chat.
Yeah, that guy's an asshole.
He's a douche. Just kidding. All right, so let me rearrange the windows. I've got everything pretty much good to go here. Let me move my thing down here so I can change between news stories as need be. But, all right, Fuego, you ready for this?
Yes, indeed.
All right, so, hey, everyone. I'm Cecil Laird.
Got Jaime and Fuego here.
And this is your horror show news with booze. This is an emergency edition of the News with Booze, you guys, because so much news dropped today alone that it's news I wanted to get on top of, as well as the fact that we have a lot of movies to catch up on. So Sunday, when we were planning to do the news, we figured we might as well do our movie catch-up, our review roundup, as we normally call them, for this month. So we're going to be covering a bunch of movies on Sunday live for you guys, so stay tuned for that down the line. And then tomorrow we'll be reacting to the Zack Snyder trailer, right, Fuego?
Bright and early. They said it's going to be very early from what I was seeing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
let's do it.
Yeah,
set those alarms, son. We can go back to sleep afterwards, you and me. But yeah, so that'll be coming tomorrow. But guys, a ton of news dropped, so we are going to go ahead and cover those news stories in this remote fashion. Oasis, what's up? Good to see you. Sandra, what's going on? Yeah, oh my god, I just finished reading Pet Sematary yesterday. I'm haunted by it. Yeah, Fuego, is it not your favorite King book?
It just wavers between the the unholy trinity, as I've called it from time to time, which is The Stand, It, and Pet Sematary. I mean, Pet Sematary, I think, is definitely his darkest, whereas It is kind of in the middle, melancholy, and then The Stand at least has kind of a hopeful message to it, aside from the circle closing, which we talked about in that Stand spoilers discussion. But I mean, it's his scariest work in my opinion, and it's one that I think you could expand on past stuff, Micmac rounds. We'll get to it. So yeah.
If I may, Fuego, as a producer of the channel, I would say that that big blank white spot, if only you had something that was about yay big, that was a silver ball that could fill that space so wonderfully Right
No,
behind you.
It's right up there. But,
oh, is it already? Oh, I can't see. All right. Sorry, we'll talk about that later.
I'm like, I could pull it down and show it right
no,
now.
I'm looking forward to redesigning your set. Honestly, it's been something in the back of my mind, like, ooh, that's gonna be fun. But that is not what we're here to talk about. So we have a series of news stories, and I believe I have, what is it? Let's count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different news stories. Right, some of these stories are going to encompass numerous news stories, but I mean, there's something like 20 plus news stories that we're talking about that we're going to cram into tonight's episode. So, guys,
the only way we could do it.
Get your booze, come join us. Whoa! See, that's why Fuego and I host this together, honest to God. So, cheers. Now, Fuego, I think, again, what we need to start doing is denoting our booze for the evening. I am with my standard here. That is 2 shots of vodka, 1 can, if y'all are curious. I'm not showing the brand, but 1 can of pineapple juice, and then a splash of cran grape. I have this here for refill purposes, because I know I'm going to finish this during this episode. But yeah, I'm going to have myself perhaps a little shot of water here, Fuego. What are you drinking over there?
Well, I have a hot toddy here. So
what is a hot toddy? I've heard that before.
That's basically some hot tea and then a little bit of bullet in there. And yeah, it's because it's like hitting the J the other day, and I feel like my throat is still scratchy from doing that.
We don't have to be ashamed to say that anymore here in Arizona. Hitting the J the other day, completely legally.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that? When I go to the dispensary, I get precedence because I have the medical card. So there's always a line, and I basically, it's funny, what it is it's a Universal Studios Fast Pass. I just go to the medical line, I'm first in line, and I go in before everyone else that's lined up to go recreationally. Gotta love Arizona.
Yeah.
I'll rub the booze in my face while I'm still at work, man. Says, well, database, what has it stopped me from doing? Yeah. Well, yeah, okay, because I'm not paranoid like that. Anyway, we have Austin Bunnell joining the fray. Eddie D, what's going on, guys? Wences is here with I Got My Faithful Four Loco. You know, special shout out to Wences, because Wences is a old school horror show guy. Again, I still blank on what to call our fans. The only thing I ever came up with was horror shites because I was feeling snarky that day. But no, I have no idea what to call our fans. But nonetheless, Wences is old school. Eddie D is pretty old school as well. Javier's been around for quite a while as well. Joshua Sarentine's been around for a while too. I love the fact that we have long-term fans. Sandra, of course, a long-term fan as well. Love all you guys. So before we launch into all of this,
there's so much, my God.
Indeed. I just wanted to say welcome to everyone, including our old fans and new, and join the fun tonight with a drink because we have a shit ton to talk about. And Fuego, I'm going to start with what we consider, or what we said would be the top news story. So you might have to check the actual stream to see what I'm pulling up, but I'll just say we're going to start.
You didn't show me like the actual breakdown.
Not the order, no, because I don't have that. Because I don't have that in this format. So I'm starting with The Creeper, sir. So go ahead and launch there.
Well, and so to give some context, Cecil messages me earlier today, and he's like, "Dude, they announced that there is a new Jeepers Creepers movie that is coming out this fall. Should we do a horror show news bite about it?" And I was like, well, man, there's a shit ton of other stuff that was announced today. So do we just go today? Or because there was already so much stuff from, just this month of February already, as he, laughed when he saw the email that I sent him this afternoon. And we were like, there was a lot of outlets that are not covering Jeepers Creepers Reborn, the 4th entry in the series, because of the history of this director. Just to give some context without going into too much juicy
let me go ahead and divorce you from having to talk about the dirty details.
Okay, please hit it up.
So basically, the issue here, guys, and we did talk about whether or not to even cover this story because of this fact. So obviously, a lot of people know. Some people, I guess, may not, but Jeepers Creepers was directed by a man named Victor Salva, who made numerous movies, including Powder. and the Jeepers Creepers franchise. Unfortunately, he was also convicted of child molestation, essentially, stuff. And so a lot of people have denounced him. We have denounced him on this channel. Most people on the internet have denounced him at one state or another, but there's an issue for some with even covering this material. Because quite frankly, some people are going to say that, oh, well, Victor Salva is nowhere to be found with the creative team behind this. But let's be real, guys. He created this property, so he will be benefiting from this new trilogy. He might do it silently, and it might not be in the credits, but he created it. He's going to get paid money. No one bought him out of the Jeepers Creepers franchise. So there is still, unfortunately, and forevermore, an association with this guy because he created not only the franchise but the characters. So unfortunately, we do have to acknowledge that. Now, what we're trying to do is get away from all that, divorce ourselves of that guy entirely if possible. So he might not have anything creatively to do from this point forward, but you know, unless there's a press release out there saying, no, he doesn't even benefit from these movies, you have to kind of assume that he's still going to see some sort of financial benefit from these movies. We're being very realistic about it here on the channel, guys. So we're not covering this to try and say, hey, look, Victor Salva's still going to benefit, but we have to acknowledge the truth of the situation. Now, the other big truth of the situation is, yes, they have kicked him out entirely of the creativity, of the creative side of the issue. So now he's benefiting financially, one would assume, but he's no longer in creative control, which to a lot of people alleviates some of their concern and whatnot about it. So,
and that's where I want to chime in real quick,
please.
Because something occurred to me as you were saying all of that just now, is that I'm not the biggest fan of the franchise. I thought the first one was pretty good. Second one I actually quite enjoyed. I think that's my favorite of the series. Third one, I remember laughing in the theater at the slow-mo jump, you know, near the end, and I thought that film was trash. He was already working on a fourth one. Obviously, that did not end up happening. Things changed, and now we have this new guy from the Iron Sky series.
Yep.
So it's director Timo Vuar and Sola. I'm totally butchering that name, unfortunately. I haven't seen any of the Iron Sky movies. They've done, what, 2 or 3 of them? It's like Nazis on the moon.
And apparently the quality keeps getting better. Honestly, what I think I would liken it most to would be the Skyline movies, where it's a very small creative team that ends up surpassing most expectations by the time the films come out with their special effects quality. Yes, they are very cheesy, and you know, in the last one, I think Hitler was riding a T-Rex in one of the trailers. Just coming up to
be clever, man.
You know, so it's you know, it is what it is, but it's not necessarily a bad thing that those people have taken over. And they also said, if I'm not mistaken, Fuego, that this is supposed to be a scarier interpretation of the creeper lore.
Yeah, this was an exclusive on Variety, and the reason that, I mean, I didn't really see any other outlets cover it. Bloody Disgusting had said they were never going to cover any Jeepers Creepers movies for a long time. Daily Dead didn't cover it. I mean, THR, Deadline, none of the other big regular or horror trades covered this. I didn't look at a lot of the smaller ones to double check, but the point that I was going to make a moment ago, despite the fact that they're saying that this is going to be scarier and whatever, but before I forget, is that the Jeepers Creepers franchise, I think, is bigger than what DeSalva is his name?
Victor Salva.
Victor Salva, okay. And just like maybe Jeepers Creepers is bigger than Salva, I would say Buffy the Vampire Slayer is bigger than Joss Whedon. And so I feel like you can, in fact,
I mean, he was never convicted of child anything.
True.
So you can't really compare them. However, but in today's day and age, as more and more comes to light, you never know. We don't know how serious things got with Joss. So it's not, while it's not necessarily a fair comparison, it's not necessarily a dissimilar comparison.
Yeah, and just to give the little log line that they also threw out in this exclusive on Variety, it is described as unfolding at a horror hound festival that holds its first ever event in Louisiana.
Wait. So, is that a branded festival? Is that an actual festival, if horror I'm not mistaken?
No.
I could swear I've heard of Horror Hound before. I'm going to look it up real quick.
Okay, so
I
as
could
you look
swear
up,
that's an actual thing.
hundreds of geeks, freaks, and diehard horror fans from far and wide. Among them is Fanboy Chase, his girlfriend
Horror
Lane.
Hound Film Festival is a thing.
I can't say I'm surprised. Yeah, Horror Hound Film Festival. This is, I don't know. This seems more like a fan convention sort of thing.
But
as
I
opposed
knew
to
immediately
actually
because
showing
I've submitted to the Horror Hound Festival a script before. So I knew immediately that it was an action. So I wonder if they're in on this as far as financial support as well.
Yeah. Well, they're saying, but as the
Interesting
event,
thought.
yeah, but as the event approaches, Lane begins to experience unexplained premonitions, disturbing visions associated with the town's past, in particular, local legend, urban myth, the Creeper. So there you go. It's obviously happening in those stomping grounds, you know, the area where this creature reawakens every, what, X amount of years? Is it
23.
What? 23. Okay, so it's not quite 27 like Stephen King and it, but nonetheless, I mean, just with a completely different creative team. I mean, the fact that I like the design of the creature and if they really go gory and crazy with it, and if there's going to be the reason I liked the second one so much more was because it was like the James Cameron effect. It was like higher body count, more people to be potentially killed, and if you're doing it at some big festival, you know, I mean, just like all those peeps on the school bus, it was a lot more potential cannon fodder and possibility for cool kills. So, you know, even though it's like, oh, it's taking place at a festival, we've seen that sort of thing before. Color me intrigued, and I didn't realize that that Salva wasn't a part of the process anymore. Yeah, so that's news to me. I didn't read the extent of this article since I was initially averse to even covering it to a degree. So
He was. I mean, fair's fair. Fuego was not necessarily on board with covering the story, but here's the issue, and here's what I had to decide as the showrunner. You know, is there... Look, ultimately, we're a horror channel. We cover anything and everything under the horror umbrella, and we've never shied away from anything just because of the content. This is a news story in the horror community. So we would not be doing our jobs as wannabe, you know, we're not even wannabe horror news guys. We're not even reviewers technically. Like, you know, we talk about horror in various capacities. Fuego has done so in a much more professional capacity than I have in the past. So Fuego has, you know, obviously much more credibility and aplomb when it comes to that sort of thing. So it's not surprising to me that he didn't want to necessarily cover this project. But at the same time, Jeepers Creepers is a truly beloved property at this point, because I think so many people watched it and fell in love with that first movie without having any clue about the director. I didn't even know about the director until well after I saw the second film.
I'd seen Powder, you know.
Well, I'd seen it too, but I still didn't know the past of the director up until way after the second film had come out. So it's one of those things, like, can you divorce the filmmaker from the art, like the artist from the art?
I'm experiencing the same thing with.
Can you watch Woody Allen?
Right now, dude.
Can you watch Woody Allen? Can you listen to Marilyn Manson? Can you watch anything that Roland Polanski does? You know, he's made some Rosemary's Baby, in and amongst other classics of cinema, was made by Roland Polanski, a despicable human being. Woody Allen has made tons of popular movies. He can't even get U.S. distribution anymore because of the scumbag he is.
I love Woody Allen's movies.
Can you separate the art from the artist? That's
tough.
That's the argument here. So what we are trying to say is we are by no means supporting in any way, shape, or form, even indirectly, the atrocities that Victor Salva committed. We do like the character and the lore, so, or I do. I'm not going to speak for Fuego on this. I do. So I wanted to cover it, and I will likely continue to cover the series, but I will not do so in a glorified fashion. If the movies come out, I'll do a review. I'm not going to do like a lead up and all this stuff, but that's part of why I wanted to cover this story, was to talk about this, and say that you can't support that kind of stuff, and they're trying to say that that man has nothing to do with this not only this installment, but this new trilogy that's in the works. So hopefully we can take that at face value, and hopefully we are just playing it safe by acknowledging all the bad stuff that could be going on behind the scenes. But, you know, at the same time, it is a large story in the horror community, so I feel also, like it's deserving of coverage.
Yeah, and also at the same time, when we went to that Fathom event or whatever it was to see the third film, and it was very much within the public consciousness what he had done by that point as it came out after, I think, the first or the second Creepers movie. I can't recall, but that was a packed house. There's obviously a lot of people...
Sorry, Fuego, I gotta say, Crystal, check your email. I have this month's boogie boxes ready to go out, but for whatever reason, your address disappeared from our Patreon conversations, so please check your email or check the Patreon. I need to get your address so I can send out the boogie boxes to you guys. But I'm so sorry to hear that you've been in the hospital for 2 weeks due to COVID. Crystal, our longest boogie box supporter on Patreon, amazing supporter on the channel. I had no idea that she got COVID, but she deserves a freaking shout out for all the support that she's given for her boogie boxes month over month. So she's fucking rad, and I'm so glad that you got through that. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. Anyway, nonetheless, Crystal, please reach out. I would like to hear from you anyway, but we'll talk about that later. Saws Ferratu, by the way, I love that username. Bloody Disgusting isn't doing their job. Aaron the Head is doing their job. I had to stop following Bloody Disgusting today. Wow. We also have Jason, Sinister Cinema Reviews. What's up, brother? I still follow his channel. He covers so much shit on his channel, and I like I get into it on his Sinister Cinema Facebook page and stuff. Anyway, Jason, you rock. What's up? Go follow Sinister Cinema Reviews. He's got a great channel too.
Yes, the most prolific single YouTuber. I mean, way beyond us at this particular point, man.
Yeah, he does. He is more prolific than us as far as how many episodes he puts out, but he doesn't do an intro or anything, so that's okay. Zealot is back. What's up, Zealot? I'm glad to see you sticking around after the last couple of streams. The issue with Creepers is that he created the character and lore in all the movies. I can watch Woody Allen and Roman Polanski movies as one-offs, but a franchise born from the mind born from the mind of a kitty rapist, that doesn't fly with me after having learned it. And that is 100% fair, Zealot. That is 100% fair, and I don't blame anyone for having those thoughts. So to that end, Fuego, let's move to the next story, okay? This is one that
Tell me what it is.
You are much more happy with. This is the Pet Sematary story, baby.
Oh shit! You know what? As you were saying that, I was just scrolling through really quickly. Breaking news. Just before we went live, the third season of Twilight Zone no longer happening. The show has been canceled.
Whoa, really? Hang on, let me take this off real quick so we can...
Everybody thought that it was going to be part of this new Paramount Plus, which launches on March 4th. It's basically a rebranding of CBS All Access, and it was this huge announcement fest that they did today was what made us decide, hey, we should probably just go live tonight and discuss all the different properties that are being thrown out there. So I guess despite all of the new shows and returning shows and reboots and all this other shizzle that they're doing on the new Paramount Plus, I guess the Twilight Zone was not in their plans, and I never felt it was, even though there were some really good episodes, it never felt within the spirit of the original show. And I know you and I clashed.
It was made for me. It was made for me. Someone that never watched the original show, so didn't have those hang-ups, but likes anthologies. I enjoyed the show, but definitely I don't hate not having yet another show to follow.
Nope,
no, Austin, okay. I was like, why did you retract that? Austin put in, I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery.
I've been wanting to cover that song with the band.
So Zealot came over from the J stream. He said, no worries, Cecil. Glad Jay got me introduced to you folks. Welcome. And then Neuro Demuz is here as well. Neuro Demuz is a relatively new one too. So and Crystal is getting all the well wishes from everyone in the chat. I love our fucking viewers. Love our viewers. All right, sorry. Go for it.
Okay, so
Pet Sematary?
There was Yeah. So I mean, should I talk about the onslaught of other announcements?
No. There's the Paramount is a separate. Yeah, Paramount's next.
Thing.
Yep.
Okay, so this will be a lead-in to the Paramount then.
Correct.
Because of the fact that the thing that got me most curious out of everything that they announced today, and it was everything from, bringing back another Beavis and Butthead movie and Frasier and just like any sort, like so many different pop culture TV shows and remakes of stuff and whatever. But the thing that intrigued me the most, at least as far as the slate that they announced goes, is the fact that they are going to be putting some stuff directly, as far as movies go, directly onto this new Paramount Plus, one of which is apparently a project that was mentioned back in 2019 and is coming to fruition. They are indeed making the Pet Sematary prequel. It's officially happening. It was announced today by Paramount Plus that along with the Paranormal Activity re-bequel boot, whatever it's supposed to be, both that and this Pet Sematary prequel are going to be debuting on Paramount Plus exclusively. So they're not going to be like theatrical releases or VOD or whatever. They're going to be exclusive to this new streaming service that's obviously trying to go after the big boys, trying to be a serious challenger in the streaming wars, as we're calling them. And it is being written by Jeff Bueller, who was the guy who did the 2019 reimagining. I liked it. It was all right. It had elements that I enjoyed. It was definitely a different, say it with me now,
turn of the wheel.
Yeah,
I'm still really happy with that thumbnail.
Yeah, that thumbnail. Yeah. No, but I didn't hate that movie as much as a lot of people, but I really didn't enjoy it. But I enjoyed Pet Sematary too. So doing Pet Sematary 0, I mean, there's enough with, I think the Micmac burial grounds, and like it's really going to be curious in my estimation in how far back they go, what time period they decide to set it in. Are we going to have a young Judd, or are they going to go way further back and just have completely original characters, similar to what they did with Pet Sematary 2? I know.
You don't want to do that story.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds a little strange to me. Like, why are you going to just piss all of us Side King stuff all the time? I can talk different about that.
We need to do an entire episode in that fucking Maine accent.
And this is obviously, as I take another look at the story here, it's no shocker because the 2019 version, even though it got mixed responses from both critics and a lot of constant readers, it made $113 million at the box office on a $20 million budget. So it was successful. This makes complete sense. And it makes more sense than doing another Pet Sematary 2 because we already did that. So going backwards in time, I still wish they would do a dairy prequel series. I know I've said that countless times on this show, but nonetheless, I'm actually cool with this, man. As long as the script is solid. I mean, there was no, it doesn't say if Jeff is actually directing. It just says that he is behind. He's writing the screenplay. So we don't know if he's gonna be a part. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I'm cool with this. I'm tempering enthusiasm, and I'm not gonna piss on it like a lot of people I've seen doing. What about you?
I didn't have the issue with the Pet Sematary remake that so many people seem to have because, frankly, I think it was because they were so attached to the original source material and the original movie. I did not have that attachment, and quite frankly, I came to a crossroads when I was preparing one of the where you won't be lonely. Don't even get me going on that. And I'm gonna miss everybody. I'm gonna miss everybody. All right, sorry. Anyway, what was I saying?
Get it, busy.
I knew that was gonna happen. I love that song so much.
As you were approaching the crossroads.
Yes. So anyway, I had recently I've been in the process of preparing some videos for the relaunch of the channel, and some videos that are going to take some in-depth creation and editing and things like that. One of which, I guess this is kind of an announcement to the 49, 50 people that are actually watching at the moment. One of those episodes is going to be my favorite horror movie from every year that I've been alive, which is 40 of them. Anyway, so Fuego and everyone else can feel free to do theirs as well if they want to wait to a more round numbered age like I am. They can certainly do that, but I'm
like a lot of work, man.
Yeah, it is. But the year that Pet Sematary came out, it's a front runner. Honestly, it's a really good horror movie for that year, and I was tempted to make it my favorite. I don't think it ultimately won out for me, but it was up there. So I like the original movie, especially because I have an affinity for one of the actors in the original film. I don't know if you could guess who that actor might be, Fuego.
Tasha Yar?
In the original film? What actor am I working with that was in the original Pet Sematary film?
I was joking.
Oh, okay, shit, because, woo, then you're a good jokester, because that went right over my head. No, obviously Miko Hughes was in the original Pet Sematary, and I'm working with him on Dylan's New Nightmare, but I am not so attached to the source material, because the first time I've only read the book once, and it was when I listened to it when we did our review on the channel, which I loved. Honestly, it was great. It was the best Stephen King book that I've gotten all the way through, I think. But this 2019 movie didn't offend me at all. I liked it. I thought it was a cool, different take, you know? And the fact that it was an older child, the fact that she was able to say and do some horrible shit made more sense in the new movie than it did in the old movie. Like, little 4-year-old Gage was not scary to me, but, you know, 7 or 8-year-old, whatever her name was scarier to me in this movie. Ellie! So, yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'd be down for any prequel. I mean, what would they tell? Would they tell one of the stories from King's past, like the book in the past, right? Like the first dog that died? Like, is there more to that story? The kid that resurrected his dog, you know, that Judd talks about?
It was young Judd.
Oh, it was young Judd. Okay.
Young Judd,
so would they do a young Judd story, or would they go even further back, do you think?
That's what I was speculating. You know, would they?
Well, I'm asking your particular opinion. What do you end up at?
I said earlier they could even go as far back as when the Micmacs first discovered spoiled ground, but I mean, maybe they would open up the movie with something like that. You know, I could see them doing like before we hit the title screen, the first 5-6 minutes or something is the Micmacs just like discovering what's up with the ground by burying somebody there, and then deciding the tribe needs to get the fuck out. And then maybe they fast forward to a young Judd and the rediscovery of the ground, and you know that older gentleman who talks to him about everything. The name of the kid who goes off to war and comes back eludes me, but they could also do that, obviously.
Austin just commented the guy returning from war would be a good highlight.
Yeah. So I would imagine they're going to fill in the gaps with some other stuff. I'm just curious, like the time period in which they said it. I'm still thinking young Judd is probably our best bet, though. So
Ms. Marie is in the chat. Another Boogie Box patron in the chat today.
What?
Ms. Marie, just so you know, the Boogie Boxes are literally sitting. I'll show you guys. The Boogie Boxes are literally sitting over there, ready to be packed up and shipped. I'm just waiting for that last address, and then your boxes are going to be shipped out. So just thought I'd let you guys know. But you guys are fucking rad for supporting the channel that way. Honestly, I ran into some stuff, that I needed to cover for the channel, and the patron stuff was sitting there ready to be transferred over to the horror show account, and it was pretty substantial by the time I'd saved it up. And you patrons are fucking rad, and thank all of you guys, and especially you Boogie Box patrons. You support the channel in such a way that you don't even have any idea how important it is. So thank you so much.
The lights on. Amen.
For real, straight up. So Fuego, shall we move to the next story? The continuation? So yes, the next is Paramount Plus, which I have 3 different posters. If you check our stream, you'll see the posters that are up.
Looking.
And Ms. Marie, I always try and consider your son as well when I pack your boxes. So I'm always trying to pack for 2 when I pack your Boogie Boxes. Cecil, are there going to be more Rick and Morty box openings? Asked Joshua. Joshua, no, I discontinued the Rick and Morty loot crates after those first 4 because, quite frankly, they performed so poorly on the channel, it didn't even cover the cost of the boxes. So I mean, it's great for Rick and Morty fans, but only like 200 people watch them, and more people watch the Bandbox, and the Bandbox is sent to us for free. So I was investing, you know, $130 a year in Rick and Morty boxes, and we weren't getting nearly that in return, so I had to discontinue it. As much as I am a fan of the series, I just couldn't justify the cost, unfortunately. So Fuego,
$8, it doesn't make sense, man.
Do you see the posters I got there? The setup there. Cool.
Yeah. So since we've already,
I'm good.
Oh, I do. Damn easy, man. Since we've already mentioned the new Paranormal Activity, I'll just at least remind everybody once more.
New solar opposites? That's good news, Zachary. Sorry, Fuego. Yeah. Sorry, I'll shut my face up.
No, you're good. So maybe for people who are just joining, we actually do have a new entry in the Paranormal Activity series that is coming exclusively to Paramount Plus. So it's not going to be in theaters, and it's not going to be VOD or direct-to-video sort of thing. It is going to be exclusively streaming on Paramount Plus, which you can get for $5 a month with ads, and then $10 a month without ads. So they're kind of going the Hulu and the Peacock route as far as, you know, having if you're fine with ad interruption and paying significantly less, I mean, that $5 is still about what you would pay for a single VOD rental, unless it's one of those primos like friggin' Willy's Wonderland that they spent like 20-something bucks on. But nonetheless, the cool thing about this is Kristopher Landon, who has become more prominent as of recently with stuff like the Happy Death Day films and Freaky this past year. He is returning to write this like reimagining of the franchise, as they're describing it. And it's going to be another found footage, obviously. Unexpected retooling is the quotes that they use for it today. But even more exciting for me is the fact that Michael Eubank, who is the director of one of the best genre films we saw last year, Underwater, is directing it. So got some serious talent behind this one. I don't think I saw past maybe the second entry in this series, but I know you and Marsha Parker especially are big-ass fans of the
As a matter of fact, Marsha Parker, not to cut you off, but as a matter of fact, Marsha Parker and I discussed last Sunday going through and reviewing the entire series, because we looked and we had only reviewed the final movie in the series on the channel. However, Marsha Parker and I have gone to see every single Paranormal Activity movie, all 6 movies. If I'm not mistaken, we've gone to see together, except maybe one. Sure. So Marsha and I are going to go through the series and review them all, leading up to this reboot, so to speak. But it's exciting for us because we love these movies. Like, I'm a big found footage fan anyway, and this was just such a fresh take on even the found footage genre. And I felt like they upped their game. You know, like Final Destination, a lot of the later movies are still really quality movies, you know? So that's...
I don't think the acting was as good with those, but the kills got more elaborate.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm there for. But with Paranormal Activity, I'm very open to this. Marsha and I will definitely be on for that. I wouldn't be surprised if Marsha and I end up doing a ghost movie tier list ranking, or even just a Paranormal Activity tier list ranking, and then do a separate ghost, because Marsha's the big ghost movie person of our channel. But I'm up there too. I love ghost movies as well. They're one of my favorite subgenres. So we'll probably do a paranormal tier list ranking and then a ghost movie tier list ranking.
Well, you've got time
for the relaunch.
This has been dated for March 4th of 2022. So
we got tons of time.
No need to rush into that, but
we can do the recordings and build up the reviews and get them ready and such.
Yep, so that'll be debuting March 4th, 2022, the 1-year anniversary of the Paramount Plus debuting. So, and to segue into the middle, which is A Quiet Place Part 2. So this is really more so about an interesting release structure that Paramount also announced today, in the fact that they're not going the HBO Warner Brothers route where you're going to have stuff available simultaneously, and they're not doing the, I believe it's Universal that has been doing the 15-day, and then it's on premium VOD. What they're going to be doing is a 45-day window of theater exclusivity, and then it's going to be for no extra charge on Paramount Plus. So 45 days after A Quiet Place 2 arrives on September 17th, you'll be able to watch it on Paramount Plus. Same is going to go for the new Mission Impossible movie and a few other like heavy hitters, and presumably all of the heavy hitters coming from Paramount going forward. So it's it's an interesting approach. It's kind of in between what, HBO and Warner Brothers are doing and a couple of the other theaters. And, I don't know. The landscape has changed so drastically. They did proclaim, though, that they still have faith in the theatrical experience. And once more people have been vaccinated, that they're confident that audiences are going to be very down to return as opposed to waiting 45 days. So maybe, making that window a little bit larger will work to their benefit. How about you, man? What do you think?
It's an interesting strategy. I was gonna go see A Quiet Place in the theater anyway.
We had press tickets for it last year. Remember, like right before the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. We're fortunate here in Arizona that theaters have been open for quite a while compared to a lot of other states. But this is one. I loved A Quiet Place 1 so much. It was either my first or second favorite movie of that year.
I think it was first, if I remember.
It might have been. I think it was that versus Hereditary. It was a really fucking aggressive year. I think Hereditary ultimately took it, but I can't remember. Nonetheless, A Quiet Place is a perfect example of what I think is an excellent creature movie, especially nowadays. So I have been super excited about the second movie forever. I was going to go to the theater no matter what. I am interested to see how it works, right? Because currently the Disney Plus format or HBO Max format, rather, WB format it is going to be in the theater and on HBO Max for 30 days. Then it's just going to be in the theater and VOD after that. So this one is saying it's 45 days theater alone, and then Paramount Plus after that at no extra charge. So it feels like Paramount is, if I'm a filmmaker or an actor or anything like that, I feel like I'm more confident in the Paramount deal than I am in the HBO deal, because that means that they're willing to pay the big theater cuts, right? Because it's theater only for 45 days and you're not cutting into your own audience. So I honestly think I'm thinking this through as I'm talking it out with you, to be honest with you, which is how I do a lot of our news. I think that Paramount is not only going to make the filmmakers, both acting and production side, happier, but I also think it's going to lead the way. And I think if it's successful, I think HBO Max is going to change their way of doing things and make it more like that, because it's going to make their filmmakers happier. That's the big thing.
HBO said that this was not a permanent format like forever. They said that it was kind of an experiment and they were going to reevaluate, later in the year, so on and so forth. But I would say that if someone like Denis Villeneuve, if I'm pronouncing his name properly, somebody like him,
Villeneuve, some people will say.
Yeah. But if he was at Paramount and he was going to get 45 days of exclusive only in a theater, as opposed to his film being on home and in theaters at the same time, he said he felt betrayed, that they never even talked with him about that. I think we discussed this on the news many, many months ago when it was initially announced. But yeah, man, I think that, granted, it's not the 4 to 6 months that we used to see when it would take that long for a movie to hit home release, but still, 45 days is a good chunk of time, and I don't think the average person, if you're really hyped for a movie and you've got your vaccine and all that other stuff, or maybe even if you haven't and you just feel safe, socially distanced, masked up and all that, you're not going to want to wait a month and a half for a movie that you're just stoked as hell to watch. So I do feel like they are very much placing their bets on the fact that people are going to want to return to theaters, like one of their major executives said today. So,
and then the third property in this announcement?
Yeah. And the third and final is just an amusing showing of the fact that there are so many different shows that are coming back and that were announced and continuations of, and all the reimaginings. They're basically doing a Fatal Attraction small screen TV's reboot for whatever reason. I enjoy the initial release that had gone Close, and Michael Douglas, and Close has that classic line where she's screaming about "I will not be ignored" and all that. And that was when Mikey D was doing all those erotic thrillers, man. He did like Basic Instinct and Disclosure all around the span of a couple of years there. He was veering into that territory. But, I mean, this is a story with, like, you know, I mean, you could really change it up in any particular fashion as long as it's, I mean, hell, you could go same-sex couple, people of color, whatever, and I would imagine that that's probably what they will do with this sort of reimagining. And they'll also have more time, especially if it's a limited series, as they're saying. Yeah, I mean, it's a timeless enough story of obsession, and you could go one way or the other, you know, as far as well, stuff that I mentioned already. But a new take will be told through the lens of modern attitudes when it comes to strong women, personality disorders, victim shaming, and coercive control. I know some people may describe that as seeming very woke, and perhaps that's because that's the only, I mean, that's really the only way you could outdo a film that a lot of people, I mean, Adrian Lyng's film is considered a classic as far as just erotic thrillers go. And yeah, I mean, why the hell not is what I would say. I'm a little shakier about some of the other stuff that they want to, you know, reboot and, you know, repurpose, refashion, whatever. But yeah, I'd be fine with this. I'd at least give it a glance.
I mean, I'm not, you know, so hung up on the property that I care one way or another. If it's good, if I hear it's good, I'll give it a try. But quite frankly, thrillers like that don't tend to catch my attention as much. I mean, in today's day and age, when there's a new supernatural show premiering every month, you know what I mean? It feels like I'm good. I'll stay in my lane. I don't need to try and stretch too far. That's the nice thing about having other people like yourself and Marcia and Robert and Susie, because generally we can find one of us at least that's interested enough to try something new in that part of the horror genre. So
yeah, because we all have different tastes, obviously. So and sometimes they overlap, and sometimes, like with Saint Maud, they don't.
Yeah, and I forgot, by the way, we not only forgot to have you review that, but we forgot to review Duel on Sunday too. We could have reviewed Duel.
For Spielberg, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get that done this Sunday. But yeah, Fatal Attraction, I don't know. I'll give it a try as a series. I'm surprised they want to invest in a series for it instead of just a new movie, but I mean, I don't know. I guess. Whatever. So next up, Fuego. Next up, just so you know, is the King Corner. Something you're happy about. 3 big King stories. Oh, shit. Hang on. Let me... I did not do that correctly. Start talking about King. Guys, look at the graphic, not the actual words. Look at the graphic, not the words.
So earlier today, I got super friggin' excited, and it was really ironic because in the Hail to Stephen King Facebook group just yesterday, I believe it's Anthony Smock is a homie of ours on there who is going through the second collection of Stephen King short stories that is entitled Skeleton Crew, and he read a science fiction story called The Jaunt, and it's basically about in the distant future, the world has been kind of decimated, but it was able to find newfound life by this guy who basically created teleportation technology. But the catch is that to go to all of these other planets and various areas where they've been able to find the resources necessary to save the human race, you have to be put to sleep. Like, you have to go under, because there was a few instances in particular where people had gone through and they weren't quite asleep, or they were just like full on awake because it was used as execution at different times or whatever. But if you go through this void, through these, you know, teleportation devices and stuff, and you come out on that other side, if you come out on like Mars, you know, or whatever, like in Total Recall or something, if you're awake when you're going through, you are basically insane when you come out on the other side. A fate, as King describes, worse than death in the book. And so they have been trying to make it into a film for many years. Andy Muschietti, the producer and director of it, was attached at one particular point trying to, you know, find a team to make it into a film. Instead, they are making it into a television series, courtesy of none other than the co-creator of the Fear the Walking Dead show. He's apparently partnered with this new new company to tell the tale. His name is Dave Erickson, co-creator of AMC's Fear the Walking Dead, and MRC Television have basically recruited him to make this into presumably a limited series. And I saw some people that weren't so down with the idea. They're like, well, the short story is only like, 20, 30 pages, maybe less than 30 pages. And it's essentially just this father taking his family, and he tells his son the history of how the technology was developed and all the hiccups and, things of that nature. And then they go through and, something happens as peeps are going through without spoiling. And, there's all kinds of other people that are going through at the same time with them. There's families, single people, whatever. And, I saw people saying, hey, it's such a short story. Like, how could you make a series out of it? But I think that just the cliff notes and just the little beats of explanation that the father gives to his son about the history of creating these devices, I think you could show the process of the scientists who actually developed the technology. You could see them troubleshooting it and all of the mess ups that they had, all the nefarious purposes that are described at times, like, not even programming to a particular spot and this guy throwing his wife in there and she's like lost in the void. Like, there's all kinds of weird shit you could do with this story. And I don't know. I doubt you're familiar with this one because it's a much more obscure King tale, but I always like when he goes into sci-fi. He doesn't really do it very often, but this is one dude that I think would be right up your alley because it is that nice melding of science fiction and horror together. So
I was working behind the scenes to create this wonderful new setup that says new Stephen King properties being made into stuffs. So I didn't hear a word of what the story was actually about, but it did sound sci-fi-ish, and it did sound at least more interesting than what Lisey's story is going to be. So the jaunt I'm in for. Yeah.
Well, I'll give you, as opposed to my, more detailed explanation, let's just tell you what Wikipedia says about it was originally published in 81 and collected in 85 for Skeleton Crew. Wikipedia says the story takes place early in the 24th century when the technology for teleportation, referred to as jaunting, is commonplace, allowing for instantaneous transportation across enormous distances, even to other planets in the solar system. The key is that travelers must be under anesthesia for the short journey, or terrible things happen to the mind of those being jaunted around the solar system. Time stands still, and one's brain implodes with too much time to think. In an absence of external stimulation, bad things happen.
I don't like it. That's a fucking scary story for me. No. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Like, as an anxiety-ridden person, that sounds terrifying. That sounds terrifying. Like,
it goes there, man. It really does.
No. That sounds really okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you read that while I was paying attention, because that sounds awful. That sounds terrifying. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, live production.
Okay, so
sorry, Neuro, aka Jube. Yeah, I'm doing stuff on the live. I thought I got everything right, but apparently not.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Now the second bit was actually just a tiny first glimpse that we got of this new limited series that's going to be on Apple TV Plus. It's called Lisey's Story, and it stars Clive Owen, Dane DeHaan, and in the title role, Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore basically was married to Clive Owen, who was a prolific writer, and he dies in just a very, very saddening fashion, obviously. And she's haunted just by memories of him. It's a very sweet love story. Then there's an obsessive fan of her husband's that comes into play, but it's also got a very psychedelic world jumping kind of thing to it, which is like some of the few images that we saw in this little like 2-something minute trailer for upcoming Apple TV Plus content. It looks very slick and well produced, as pretty much everything from Apple TV Plus goes that I've seen. King actually wrote every single episode of this, which some worry could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, because sometimes when he adapts his own material, i.e. Cell, it doesn't always work out so well. So I don't know. I mean, if you haven't seen any of the images, it's probably not much to say beyond that, but it is more so just a sweet, sad, romantic story, and just lots of tender moments, at least in the book, between Clive Owen's character and his wife Julianne Moore, and just her dealing with the grieving process, and also remembering the weird other worlds than hers that her husband had the ability to go to for creative inspiration, and sometimes he took her along with him. So, yeah, I'm pumped, and yeah, that's about it. Who has read Lisey's story?
I have never read Lisey's story. I don't, so I'll be a Lisey's story virgin once I get to experience it.
Austin says
Crystal, heart to you too, Crystal.
Gracias, Crystal.
Crystal super chat for 10 bones. Thank you so much, Crystal. I love you. Again, you've been such a long time supporter of the channel. I mean, I cannot thank you enough for your support. Truly, truly, truly.
Heck yeah. And so the last bit of at least like major King information, we want information. He did also say that he's developing something anthological with J.J. Abrams at a recent local speaking session, but there's no details about that. The other big thing is that Shudder has apparently, ahead of the April 1st premiere of the second season, inspired by the Stephen King and George Romero show, they have already renewed the show for a third season. So just like with any anthology, I enjoyed the first season of Creepshow. The irony was that I thought two of the weakest segments were the ones adapted from Cy King and from his son Joe Hill, especially since I love.
I thought the Lake Champlain one was good.
Yeah, Lake Champlain is good, but it's one that was done as a comic previously, and then it was also, I mean,
and I thought you said you liked Gray Matter pretty well.
I liked it, but I didn't love it. That's one of my, it's one of my all-time favorites, and when I saw that they were making it, I was just on cloud fucking 9, man. And maybe it was the burden of expectation, as I always say. I was just expecting too much, and it was good, but yeah, Creepshow, I do feel the show has retained just that schlocky, cheesy, horror having fun vibe of the original film, and the second film as well. Not quite as good as the two films, but still good enough. And I'm very curious where a third season could go. And I do know that for the second season, they're cutting out that episode that was supposed to feature Marilyn Manson. They're just they're not even going to release that segment now because of the hot water.
I heard that too. Yeah. $2 from Maurice the Beast. What up? What I miss, my dudes? Miss you guys. What up, Maurice? Yeah, no, Maurice, another longtime supporter of the channel. He's come to hang out with us a number of the past few years at Mad Monster.
Man.
Yeah, dude, Maurice is dope. Thank you, Maurice. Good to see you, brother. I love the Shudder Creepshow series. So glad another season is coming, says Ms. Marie. So I agree. I think Creepshow is great, except that fucking interim episode that was not the Santa episode was dog shit. The one that we reviewed was trash. Dude, the animated one, which was really just a motion comic, they were trash. Dude, shut up. You know you didn't like them. They were garbage.
Well,
compared to the Christmas one? Compared to the Christmas one?
I thought the Christmas one was a lot more entertaining. I was definitely disappointed with the motion comics because, I mean, Survivor Type is not one of my favorite Stephen King short stories. It's one that I find just so silly and outlandish and the kind of thing that I think he would write hopped up on drugs, because it's about a guy who crash lands on like a tiny little deserted island with a bunch of drugs, and he just dopes himself up and starts cutting off his limbs and eating them. And then I did actually like the Joe Hill one, Twittering from the Dead, a little bit better. But then again, it just, I don't know. It was the style of animation that I agree with you. I enjoy both of those stories enough, but the presentation of animation, I mean, they were working during a pandemic trying to get something together. So that's maybe they shouldn't have even tried. I don't know. But yeah, we shall see. We shall see. But third season of Creepshow, bring it on.
Sharon Beveridge is here. Have very high hopes for the jaunt. And Devin X, yeah, those specials were kind of dumb.
Yeah, I saw Sharon commenting in the tail group about it too. Just a little, yeah.
All right, so we have 3 sets of stories left, Fuego. Just see if you're curious. So, according to what I have in the production elements here. So, guys, just so you know, I apologize if it's a little haphazard, the production elements. Again, I screwed up the Stephen King thing, but this is the first time we've gone live for a full News with Booze. I had to come up with an entire new look, an entire new format, and all within 2 hours of us. Like, I was like, hey, let's do it. And then, like, I had an hour and a half left to come up with all this, so I hope it's at least passable. I'll try and tweak the format if we do it again remotely, but it's not. Honestly, look, I mean, I don't want to suck my own dick, but I think it's
doing what we can.
Pretty good for as quickly as we're doing it. So, Fuego, the order of operations.
Yes.
Of the next three, it is sequels and reboots, and then directors, and then Spawn, and I'll lead the Spawn one.
Okay.
So sequels and reboots, and then directors.
I did not even see that Spawn story because it wasn't covered.
Oh, I did.
Bloody. Or
I did. Like don't worry about it.
Screen
it's real.
And
real.
Other spots. Okay,
it was covered by the comic book places.
Okay.
All right. So sequels and reboots is what we're going with next. Okay. So I just switched it.
You should go by the graphic or
yeah. Go ahead. Look. Well, no. Yeah. I mean, talk about all of them. I tried to represent. I represented all but like one of them in your.
Yeah, I was gonna say because there's so friggin' much. It's literally.
Do you see the graphic now? It should have popped up.
I think it's up now. Yes. Okay. Cool. So, well, I guess I will start with Tim Burton. Everybody.
This was a surprise. Tim Burton TV show, y'all.
Yeah, Tim Burton.
I'm gonna make another drink. Fuego, how you doing? You need a drink?
No, I still got.
You're pretty dry over there.
I still got this going down.
Guys, let's everyone. This is the news with booze. Let's everyone take just a little break and cheers to all of you guys that have hung through this far. We have 50 people watching the news with booze. We are intending to, guys, when we relaunch this channel in a month and a half or so, we are intending to lean into. God, I'm drunk. Lean into all the stuff that you guys like and represent the channel in a way that you guys can all be very proud of. And the news with booze is one of the things that you guys have always supported and always liked. And we can't thank you guys enough for that. So we really all need to cheers together. So Fuego, hold up your drink. And we're going to do a Lethal Weapon 3, 2, 1, go. Not 3, 2, go. Okay? All right. So, and we're going to cheers the camera. All right. So 3, 2, 1. Cheers, all of you. Yes. Love it.
No, it's not hot anymore, but what else?
We got Joshua saying cheers, Zealot saying cheers, Mr. Third Eye giving a cheers. Man, I fucking love you guys. This is awesome.
Austin's cracking me up.
Continue, Fuego. Sorry.
All right, no problema. So
Dr. Death in the chat. Dr. Death, actually a very frequent and consistent commenter. Thank you, Dr. Death. Good to see you.
Fliners, cheers, and Mr. Third Eye, clink.
Fliner. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, Mr. Third Eye, clinky, indeed.
So, intriguingly enough, this past week, we found out that Tim Burton is going to be headed to the small screen. I don't even know if he's done anything small screen since I think he did something Wizard of Oz related, like even before. Man, I know it was before Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I could be mistaken the property. But, yeah, it was a made-for-TV movie or some shizzle. But, yeah, he is going to be, and it seems like a goth marriage made in heaven, but he is going to be doing a live-action Wednesday Addams series for Netflix. And the thing that I find amusing about this, they're saying it's going to be an 8-episode initial order. This feels like it's just going to step right into the spot that is being vacated by Sabrina. And I'm presuming it's going to be similar kind of gothy, teen-centric vibe, especially since they're saying she is going to be a sleuthing, supernaturally infused mystery charting Wednesday Addams' years as a student at Nevermore Academy. So this is presumably going to be an older Wednesday, you know, so it's not going to be like Christina Ricci in that first one where she was like, what, maybe 12, 13? I mean, maybe a little bit older, or maybe I'm just totally getting presumptive. But yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I'm very curious what they're going to do. It's obviously working concurrently with the fact that there is that second animated film that's coming out later this year. So I would say the property is definitely very much in vogue. People are invested and interested. Two of the peeps from Smallville are going to be writing and showrunning, Alfred Goh and Miles Millar. Miles Miller. But yeah, Chloe Grace Moretz most recently. Yeah, that's the animated movie. So who is excited about this? It's interesting because the key art that they have for it coming to Netflix it's a very cartoonic drawing of her, and she's got I'm trying to see if it's actually, yes, it is visible in the thumbnail. So, she's got her stand-up, base or whatever, and she's got the blade going down there. So, I don't know. I mean, Tim Burton directing, and with the Netflix pedigree, I'm pretty pumped for this. And with the Smallville guys, I mean, they obviously, I mean, you watched Smallville. I didn't really watch Smallville. Did that tackle at least some kind of tweenish themes pretty well?
Yeah, Smallville was honestly, it felt, I mean, it was still CWE, because it was really early in that formula, but it felt less CWE than the formula is nowadays. So I don't know, it's funny.
How serious will it be is what I'm wondering.
You're talking about Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the Sabrina comparison. I think it is absolutely meant to fill that gap. Now that Sabrina is done, you have a smart protagonist that's kind of, that's not only the hero of the venture, but also is a little bit smarter than everyone else around her in the show, even though she might not have earned it. But I'm well on board with it as an Addams sort of thing, and as cheesy as that description can sound, a sleuthing Wednesday or whatever. You know what? It's gothic Veronica Mars. It's a clever way to bring current day audiences into the Addams Family universe, and to at the same time evolve said universe into a new 2021 reality. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, it doesn't need to do that. Addams Family is good as it was. It doesn't need to evolve. Look, Addams Family started as a black and white TV show for people.
And it was great.
And then it evolved with the 90s movies. Both of them were entertaining as hell, with Raul Julia and Kristopher Lloyd. Thank you. Angelica Houston and Wednesday herself. Christina Ricci, right? Like,
I was gonna say Barry Levinson did a great job with those movies. I'm with Chase right there. What's up, Chase?
Chase, what up, Chase? Another longtime viewer.
I prefer Family Values, man. I prefer the second one to the first one. I feel like it's a little darker.
That was the one when she went to camp, right? Her and Aaron Pugsley went to camp.
Burning that shizzle down.
Fuck yeah, dude. Wednesday is dope. Rob Zombie should do the Munsters. I would be down for that, except it would be like a trailer park Munsters.
Would he demand the Munsters dropping F-bombs and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, Herman's like, fuck, and stuff. I don't know.
See, Zealot says it has to be done by the guys behind What We Do in the Shadows. That would be fucking awesome. But you know what? Quite frankly, anything done by those guys would be awesome.
They might go too camp with it, though, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean,
maybe.
But I love Jermaine and Taika. I mean, pretty much everything that those dudes have done, I'm all on board for. So that would be intriguing. Rob Zombie, if he did do a Munsters movie or series for one of these streaming services or something, I think he would have to take the Eli Roth House with the Clock in the Walls approach and use some restraint, for God's sake. From a stylistic standpoint, I think he would do a great job. Maybe not write it, though. I don't know. Who's to say?
Well, we have okay. So what else we got? Obviously, we have a number of other things in the graphic there. So let's move on. As much as we're excited about Wednesday, and you know what? One last thing.
Yes.
Tim Burton in TV. That's not a thing we've seen very often. You know what I mean? So that's exciting to me in and of itself. If it's something that holds true through the actual experience. If Tim Burton never leaves this series behind the scenes, then I'm gonna have a series of unfortunate events felt like it had a Tim Burton feel. If there's actually a show out there with a Tim Burton feel, it bodes well. it bodes well to me. So, anyway, next up within the sub-story, Fuego.
Yes. Next up is actually, so HBO Max ordered up this adult animation block, and one of the very odd but interesting choices. I'm not the hugest Scooby-Doo fan, okay, but there is apparently going to be a Velma adult animated series. And I saw an adult movie with Velma in it, but anything like what they're gonna be doing here.
What was it called, Fuego? What was your adult movie starring Velma called?
I don't recall.
Scooby doing the mysteries?
Something like that. I don't know. It was Daphne and Velma, and it was pretty insane.
Look,
but,
let's be honest.
Yeah,
if you had a choice, this is the Marianne and Ginger situation. If you had a choice between Ginger and voluptuous Velma, I mean, who are you going to go with? You know what I mean?
Well, I would pull a Towley and I would go, I choose both!
You cheating motherfucker.
Sounds like a lot of work. But
it does sound like a lot of work. You know the problem with two girls at once? It's like trying to drive two cars across country. You always got to stop, go back and get the other one and catch up. I'm sorry, is that too personal?
Well, no. Or like playing guitar and singing at the same time. Often you're doing
sure, yeah, that's the same as a threesome.
Often you're doing one thing better than the other. All right, so there's that. But yeah. So
oh my God, that's fair.
We're not going to be seeing that sort of vibe from this Velma Dinkley. But they are describing it as an original and humorous spin that unmasks the complex and colorful past of one of America's most beloved mystery solvers. And apparently Mindy Kaling is executive producing, and she is going to voice none other
Wait, it's an animated thing?
Animated, yes. So it's going to be part of this new adult animated block that they're doing. And yeah, I mean, I'm honestly thinking they're going to take cues from that Harley Quinn DC animated show. I'm guessing if it's an adult animated, it's going to be that sort of vibe, perhaps. And
I'll tell you one thing for sure. I'll tell you one thing for sure, because I would absolutely hate to drive traffic to the wrong sort of thing on the internet. But one thing you absolutely do not want to do, if you have respect for yourself and women, is Google sexy Velma. Whatever you do, don't Google sexy Velma if you have any respect for yourself, or if anything, don't Google sexy Velma. Don't do it.
Psychology.
Whatever you do, don't Google sexy Velma. Woo! I'm on board for this series, Fuego, is all I know.
Even if it's animated, it's all good.
Zealot's a good addition to this channel, I gotta be honest with you. All right, Fuego, what's next? No, we can't move on.
Yes.
We got more in this category.
Yeah, so more in this category. So we are
I'll be down for In This Moment. Dude, In This Moment. Yeah, Crystal. Hell yeah. I listened to, are you talking about In This Moment horror? Yes.
And then you've got
have Velma singing horror by In This Moment. Anyway, go ahead, Fuego.
That sounds like a different type of show, like I was saying earlier. Anyway.
Wait, In This Moment is that same band, right? I'm thinking about. Okay, good.
Yes,
right,
yes.
Cool.
Not to be confused with In This Moment Light, i.e., the Pretty Reckless. So.
Hey now.
That's
some sexy shit too.
Yeah, Taylor Momsen. There you go. But we're finally
Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah. So the Predator series is returning, which is, I don't know. Some people may be excited about that. I've seen others. They're like, just let Alien and Predator die. Well, since the Disney acquisition, it's become increasingly apparent that shit ain't
no way.
Down.
And comics are about to blow people away, because comics now have the ability to tell original, new Alien comic book stories, and us at the horror show, I'm going to tell you, us at the horror show are here for it. I think that the Alien books are going to be a prime candidate for a comic book review under the new horror show umbrella. I have some ideas what I want to do, but that's why I told Fuego he needs to crank out all the comics that we have right now so I can do them in the old style and I can focus on the new style for upcoming episodes and stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh shit, Hal Whalebrenner is here. Holy shit. Sandra's husband Hal in the chat. That's new. What's up, on, Hal? Good to see you, Hal.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Yeah. Thank you to you and your lovely wife for supporting the channel for so long. Joshua 17 says Predator is crap. I disagree. Anyway,
there have been so many good. Okay, the films haven't been great since the first one. The first one is one of the greatest action.
Second one was great. Sorry.
I appreciate the second one. I even like the third one better than a lot of people. But
Predator was fun.
The Predator was shit. I hated that movie. I really
AVP 1 was fun. AVP 2 sucks.
Mm-hmm. But that was another one where it was burden of expectation with Shane Black and Fred Dekker. I was such a fan of those guys, but they definitely kind of ran the franchise into the ground. But the comics have stayed consistent throughout the entirety of the Dark Horse, whether it was Alien or Predator. I own every single series of all of those. I'm talking like 2 friggin' long boxes of insanity, and I'm very curious to see what Marvel/Disney does and how close to R they allow them to go. But apparently there was a 5th Predator film already in development before the Disney acquisition, and it was secretly put together under the title Skulls. But even though we don't have an official title for it yet, details are finally starting to come out. And so it will apparently follow a Comanche woman who goes against gender norms and traditions to become a warrior. That's really about all that we have so far, aside from the fact that they say many years ago, in a time before any Europeans had ever encroached on their lands, the Comanche people had a well-defined society and gender norms. He is very close to her younger brother, Tom. Uh-oh, he's falling asleep. But so just to fast forward, when danger threatens them all, he sets out to prove that she is as capable as any warrior. This danger is presumably a predator or perhaps multiple predators. And I'm stoked because this seems very similar to...
It sounds very PC to me, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I wheeled myself out of this frame.
Yeah. Well, honestly, just...
Maurice, Predator versus Venom. Sorry. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Just a good clarification, though, is the fact that this mirrors in a lot of ways the story from the original Alien versus Predator comic book from 1990, where basically this woman kind of becomes a warrior of sorts, and she proves herself to the Predator. She dons armor, all this different shit, and then they take her on their spaceship with them, and she goes to like train and hone her hunting skills and all this different stuff. So I'm guessing they're riffing on it, but this will presumably be the first time that we are seeing a period piece on the screen of Predator, because they've done tons of previous editions where they were in everything from medieval times to weird other planets with monks, and I mean, there's been various iterations of this, but I'm very curious, especially because it is being directed by none other than Dan Trachtenberg, who did 10 Cloverfield Lane. It is scheduled to start to continue filming in Canada.
Predator period piece, you say? Sounds gory as hell.
Oh, I know. Sounds like you would be even more interested than normal.
I waited a long time to make that joke.
I know. Like shooting fish in a barrel.
Everyone's looking at me like, how much booze has Cecil had? Keep drinking, Cecil, says Super Simi. Yep, that's my plan. All right, Fuego, continue on. We got a lot of shit in this category today. I mean, I personally am most excited about that.
Just from this month.
No, I'm personally am most excited about that graphic on the far right of that graphic. I love Netflix animation, and I love Pacific Rim. I've watched the I've watched the Castlevania series. I watched the Blood of Zeus series. I am excited about the He-Man Resurrection series, which is made by the same people. Like, I'm so excited about this. Wait, hang on. Everyone stop! Chase chimed in. I say bring on new ideas. Muscle Guy versus Predator has failed twice in a row financially. Fair enough, Chase. See, Chase, I value your opinion. I'm willing to stop the stream just to point out your points. No, I don't think that the last one particularly failed, and I don't think Predators particularly failed either. They were both fun. They were over the top and silly, which I liked. I don't know. Predator, it's not such a bad, like, that's the thing. Fuego, Robert, and I have, they don't know it, but I did mention it to them once. We have plans to do a Alien and Predator tier list ranking. That is one of the next tier list rankings we have planned for the channel relaunch, and we will be ranking all the Alien and Predator movies, and I think it's going to be an interesting discussion, and I think that some people may be surprised with some thoughts, but quite frankly, I don't know. I enjoyed the last two Predator movies. Predator is really solid when it comes to horror franchises. Like, there's movies that are weaker than the others, but there's nothing that's really... there's no Alien Resurrection of the Predator series, in my opinion.
I don't know. I like Resurrection, personally. I would say that The Predator is weaker than every Alien movie. Now,
fuck you.
No, I would most definitely say that.
Really? Alien Resurrection? Like, I like Alien Resurrection, but that's a pretty well shit-on movie.
Would you really say that The Predator is better than Alien Resurrection?
I would rewatch The Predator before I'd rewatch Alien Resurrection. That's ultimately how I have to decide on stuff. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. You know what? That should be its own separate... We should just do a separate episode where we just talk about it live, where we just do Predator versus Alien live and stuff. Fuego.
Just almost like a debate of the merits.
Yeah, the Great Horror Debate.
Yeah.
Space Creature Edition.
Well, I mean, the thing is, aliens often come in swarms, the hive aspect and all that other stuff. And, Predator, a single Predator can just mow down a shitload of aliens. But
so Captain Midnight, the Chrononaut, another newer... Wait, is that Robert? It looks like Robert's face. But nonetheless...
No, it's not.
Don't know if you said or not, but the dream director for Alien Predator movie. Do you have one you can think of, Fuego? Let's think real quick.
We had him. He was supposed to do a film. His name is Neill Blomkamp, and he did not get to do his Alien movie.
That's fair. That is a fair... You know what? That is such a fair and good choice that I will say that I would have a hard time thinking of someone more appropriate than Neill Blomkamp to do a new Alien Predator movie. That is a fantastic choice.
Especially after all those Oat Studio films like Zygote and stuff that he did, which imagine him making an Alien movie with that sort of visual approach, but on a bigger budget, dude. Like, give him like 50, 60 million, like mid-range budget. We're not talking like 100 plus like Ridley wanted. Give him like, he's one of those filmmakers that has always done a lot with a little. Now, granted, when he had a bigger budget, he didn't perform as well in a lot of people's estimation. Chappie and Elysium to a lesser degree, which I don't mind either of those movies. District 9 was where he really just... You look like you did.
I want to say something. I want to say something to Dr. Death. So, Dr. Death, again, recent yet active member of the chat. He says Alien and Predator is about to get Disney-fied. Now, I personally don't think that's such a bad thing. I know you're one of the people that thinks that the Disneyfication of R-rated properties is going to be bad. I disagree. I think Disney is ultimately going to see the benefit of having that element of its studio, the Deadpool element, right? The hardcore element. I think they're going to see the benefit of putting Disney money into horror films that we all love. Because here's the thing. This has never been in question, and this has always held true through history of cinema. Horror fans are the most loyal fans in all of cinema. So if Disney, maybe, but hear me out. Disney is also one of the studios that is the most willing to put money into franchises that their audience likes. Okay? I think that, yes, it may be a time of evolution that's necessary for Disney. But I think ultimately with Deadpool, they see the benefits. They would not have made the announcement about an R-rated Deadpool 3 without seeing the benefits of having an R-rated segment of their film division, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think all of the horror properties, including Aliens and Predator, are going to fall into that. And I think talent is going to out. I think ultimately this is going to be a good thing because the people that love the Alien franchise, like you and me, except they are in Hollywood and have been making strides to position themselves to be in a place where they can actually tackle these properties. I think the people making these movies are going to be like you and me, except they're going to be in a position to do so. And they're going to do really well with Disney funding. I don't think Disney is going to...
mouse money, man.
Yeah, the mouse money. They're not going to shortchange the horror properties just because they're horror. They still know the benefits of making money. And they know that horror makes money when it's R-rated. They know that Deadpool makes money when it's R-rated. And so they're going to allow it to continue to be R-rated. And all that's going to do is going to expand the Disney brand. Now, you might see a Disney After Dark brand start to emerge, like a Disney subsection that can handle all of that. I think that will start to emerge, but
I don't know about that because like it's already going to be fulfilled. This is the one thing a lot of people are forgetting is that 20th Century Studios is going to continue operating under the Disney banner, just like Searchlight Studios, which does lots of Indian art house stuff, typically of the R-rated variety. That's going to continue operating. So they're going to be their own studios working under the Disney umbrella. And I'm presuming a Predator film, it's going to be just like when we saw, for instance, New Mutants, even though it was developed beforehand. They began the development beforehand, and they said 20th Century Studios. It's not gonna say Disney and then go to Predator.
Yeah, look, the Predator's not gonna show up with mouse ears all of a sudden. You know what I mean? It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, and even the Alien series, it's on Hulu FX, and they do very R-rated content from both a violent, a language, a sex, approach, and so that's where the aliens are gonna, be residing in this television series. So I'm not as apprehensive as more details have come out. Especially, I saw somebody in the chat mention that they have this Star offshoot, which outside of the United States is where all of the R-rated stuff that they own now is residing. So, I mean, Disney had Touchstone Pictures back in the 90s, man, and they put out all kinds of R-rated stuff under that banner. I'm honestly not worried. It's going to be, like you said, give that mouse money to some really hungry, just fervent creators who love these franchises, and I think we'll be just fine, man.
Brad Faulkner says they've already made 1 billion Alien films. Do we really need another one? And I will say, yeah, because Alien is something that doesn't necessitate anything that's going to drag on the audience. Alien itself is the kind of property that you can literally tell. You can literally, like, here's the thing: if you can literally tell an alien story in any genre. You can tell a comedy alien story. You can tell a drama alien story. You can tell a horror alien story. You can tell any kind of a western, an alien, a kids like Alien. The xenomorphs are never going to go out of style. And there's always going to be writers that have an idea to take the property into a new avenue, and it's going to surprise and delight us all. Like, that's the thing. Properties evolve. Properties get better. And yes, absolutely, Don Joe. Cecil is so buzzed. I wish I could stay up later. Yes, I am absolutely buzzed because I want to pour myself another shot. Because I'm enjoying this discussion. This, quite frankly, Frego, I'm having a good time, just having fun. And Oscar Perez just says drunk. Cecil's drunk as funk. I'm not that drunk. I'm a little drunk. But look, all of this stuff, it's just whatever. All right, maybe I'm drunk. Fuego, continue on. Get to Pacific Rim, would you?
Well, yeah. Well, I just poured myself some fizzy stuff.
Oh, good. Well, maybe I should pour myself some.
What
do you mean? No. This is not like it's not like I turn into drunk Fuego where I'm like, yeah.
I've had some of my lesser moments on this program. I'm trying to keep it within reason, right? But yeah, man, you were gonna. So Cecil had commented about this Pacific Rim cartoon, this animated series that's coming. Described as
Fregos, you broke my heart. Hal says
Pacific Rim the Black, and the stream. So that's what it's called, Pacific Rim the Black. Additionally, they've announced this series is coming really soon, dude. It's coming March 4th, so it's coming a week from Friday. It's pretty, or actually a week from. Is the 1, 2, 3, 4? So Thursday. So next Thursday is. They're going to be dropping all of these episodes. There is a teaser that is floating around already. Big Kaiju versus Jaegers or whatever the hell they call them. So yeah,
dude, the Pacific Rim. And here's the thing: it's a legendary property. Mm-hmm. So if Godzilla versus Kong does well enough, it is possible that the Pacific Rim property can cross over with that as well. But here's the thing: I'll take anything giant monster. Look, I don't care that I am a monster shill. I will always be a monster shill because good monsters deserve to be shared. But to that end, Fuego, you really got to watch 30 Coins. 30 Coins is not the monster show you thought. The monster is only in the first episode of the 4 that I've watched. But the monster is so cool, you definitely need to watch it. But guys, monsters are my jam. And giant monsters... all the better. Give me good anime. Like Netflix animation has been killing it. Although it has to be said, the Godzilla and Netflix stuff has been trash. I have not enjoyed the Godzilla Netflix animated stuff because it's been so slow and the actual Godzilla action has been so little. I don't know. Chase says, I'm on the internet. I don't know what nuance is, Cecil.
Are we talking Gadzuki or whatever that the weird?
No. The animated Godzilla movies. Godzilla was ruler of the planet. Like he would destroy anything, and so humans were coming back to try and reclaim Earth because they had been forced off planet. But they want to destroy Godzilla to try and have humanity reclaim Earth in the animated Netflix stuff. The problem is, since he's almost an Earth-sized threat now, he moves so slow, he poses very little threat, and it's just not interesting as when he's going through an entire city and tearing shit up like he does in the new movies. So I'm much more on board with the Godzilla of the new movies than I am of the Netflix animation. But if they do the Pacific Rim Netflix closer, or not like the Godzilla animation, then I'll be much, much happier.
There you go, man.
Sorry, yeah. Anyway, all right.
You're fine.
So next up, we're gonna go to the new directors, and then it'll just be Spawn after that. So there's 5 directors though, so 5 different stories within this story.
And I did notice that you omitted two of the others, but you got to trim the fat sometimes.
Which one? What did I omit? What did I omit?
There is a new Constantine series, a darker take coming to HBO Max, courtesy of J.J. Abrams.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that. No, I'm excited about that, actually.
Very, very few details available, but especially if they go... I mean, even the original Constantine film with Keanu, that was trying for a PG-13 rating, and they just ended up getting an R because of some of the imagery or whatever, and they were really trying, because it wasn't insanely violent, had some disturbing imagery, obviously, and I really dig that movie. And then obviously the Constantine TV series where, Mr. Hellblazer, he just, I mean, it was an NBC show, right? So, I mean, they didn't, there's a lot you could go with a much more faithful Vertigo. I'm not super familiar with the character, so I can't really speak to too much, but when they say darker, and we know just the lack of constraint on a platform like HBO Max, that gets me excited. I don't know who would be good to recast, but I know even Keanu was clamoring for wanting to do a sequel for a while, and he looks pretty ageless, although he doesn't have the blonde hair and the great accent, but, whatever, it's fine.
I'll take it. I love Constantine anyway. Like, Constantine's great.
Oh, yeah, damn reason. So, okay, so we are just going to, I guess, speed round as best we can because we still have the video game related. If we're
no, I left that off. Nope, I left that off. Yeah.
Okay. Even the Deadpool guys doing Twisted Metal. I would have thought.
Oh fuck, Twisted Metal! I forgot about that. God damn it!
Yeah.
There's so many news stories.
I know.
All right, we'll cover the directors first, and then we'll do Twisted Metal.
Okay. I can just lightning.
I'll make a Twisted Metal thing while you're doing it.
So we'll just lightning round through this stuff, guys. Since we did hear, since I mentioned his name earlier already, let's talk about the fact that we do have a title, albeit a simple one, for the new Neill Blomkamp story, which the new film, I should say, that he secretly shot in quarantine. It's called Demonic, and so he's been attached to so many different things in the last few years, and it just kind of breaks my heart because he was supposed to do the basically the retcon sequel that was going to be a direct continuation after Aliens, the second one, and there was some dope concept art that he had done himself that was floating around. We had Ripley in like an alien like arm and a xenomorph armor suit, and Hicks with burnt face, and and then Ridley Scott cockblocked him and is like, nope, I'm gonna make more of this new trilogy of my own. And then he was attached to do the new RoboCop at Orion at one particular point. That didn't work out either. And so now he has this new film called Demonic. It is a full-on horror feature from what everybody is saying, which is interesting because his stuff has always been that melding of science fiction more so than anything with horror elements. I honestly feel like the Oates stuff was more horror than just about anything he had done previously, of his 3 feature films. But it's unclear. So he was apparently working on some project before that. I want to say had Taylor Kitsch, maybe the guy who was Gambit in Origins, and he was in the John Carter Mars film. So we don't know if this is the same film or not. But it's apparently the description for that one was Kitsch was supposed to play a cop called to investigate a seemingly ordinary murder in the New Mexico desert. Arrival of the FBI confirms his suspicion that something bigger, perhaps extraterrestrial, is at play of the horrific variety. The hunt for the killer puts him face to face with a humanoid beast who will stop at nothing to exterminate the one witness to the crime. So we don't know if this is the same project or if that shit is completely different. But this film is apparently in the can. He shot it up in British Columbia, which is where, despite the fact that he's from South Africa, he lives up in Canada and has for a while. Anything Blomkamp, I mean, especially after how great Rock On, Firebase, and Zygote and stuff were. I'm just happy the guy is still finding the means to create, and even more intriguingly, outside of the studio system, he's finding his financing, and he really has the technical expertise to make something really dope. And I would like to see him do something that is more full-on horror instead of science fiction with a sprinkling of horror elements. So that's what we have to look forward to. No release date, at least from what I understand. But Screen Daily gave us these little tidbits of information. Supposedly, horror movie with strong sci-fi and VFX components. And so there you go. We have another feature, the first since Chappie, to look forward to, guys. Next up, we have David Fincher re-teaming with his Seven writer, and it's apparently for a project called The Killer that he has been trying to make for like freaking ever, man, since way back in the 90s when he first worked with Andrew Kevin Walker on Seven. He's been trying to do this, and Deadline broke this story. It's apparently based on a series of graphic novels. Cecil, I don't know if you're familiar with the Killer graphic novels, because unfortunately...
I do. I have 2 of them, actually.
Oh, okay. So series follows a cold-blooded assassin who's apparently going to be played by Michael Fassbender, who begins to have psychological crisis in a world with no moral compass. That's all we got, unfortunately. Can you shed any light additionally on the story for this Shiite or?
No, it's been years since I've since I've read the books.
Anyone in the chat? No.
It's an actual contract killer, if I'm not mistaken, though.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but then they bring in like some sort of psychedelic.
Continue to talk. I'm gonna go grab the books real quick.
Mental crisis sort of thing. But yeah, if anybody in the chat obviously is familiar in any way, shape, or form about these books, because unfortunately it's completely new to me. But I mean, Fincher is one of the most prolific directors out there. I still contend that The Game is my favorite of all of his films. A lot of people think I'm crazy for saying that. It's either Seven or Fight Club for a lot of people. Don't hear a lot of people praising the brilliance that is Panic Room. Zodiac, obviously amazing. Even Mank not horror, obviously, at all. Probably the most, dare I say, vanilla thing that he's done. It is a great film. I mean, not a favorite of the year this past year for me or anything, but he's got this deal, this exclusive, the multi-picture deal, I believe, that he signed with Netflix. And so obviously it's cool that they're giving him the keys to the castle, especially after all the success of Mank, which was just obviously a film that was, in my opinion, trying to be an awards contender. I don't always agree with deliberately approaching a film with that mentality of it has to be an awards contender or whatever. But so yeah, Andrew Kevin Walker, a little bit about him. I know he also did Sleepy Hollow Fudgicles. I'm trying to remember, damn it. I should probably just look. I think he also did that Nick Cage 8mm, but whatever, without looking extensively further into it. Yeah, he's got Fincher at least has this great relationship with Netflix between the Mindhunter stuff, even though I think they canceled Mindhunter. But that's about the extent of it. I hope Cecil can bring in a visual aid at some point. Apparently, as I look briefly at the article a little bit more, Alexis Nolant is the one who did these graphic novels. So anybody in the chat got anything? Netflix giving auteurs the keys to the castle never goes wrong, and Chase's expression, it's just perfect there. Oh man, I love it. Alex, no, I didn't talk to Running Man yet because of the fact that I ended up just doing an entire separate video about that because I was so intrigued about the news, but yet very cautiously optimistic about that news because of the fact that, so there's a whole, last week's Hail to Stephen King, it was kind of a shorter episode, it was only about 15 minutes, but the fact that they're saying that this new Running Man is going to be so much more faithful to the source material than the Arnie one-man army bit. I actually have a soft spot for that 87, the Running Man with Schwarzenegger and Jim Brown and Jesse Ventura and all that. It still had the social subtext of the voyeurism and corporate television manipulation and everything. But yeah, it's a damn good Bachman book. It's I'm excited about another adaptation, but the thing that I wanted to bring up and that I did in that video is that basically, Edgar Wright, every single thing that he has done has a little bit more of a cheese factor to it. I mean, it still gets gory and crazy, whether it's Shaun of the Dead or, everything he has done has kind of that slight silliness to it. And if we're going to go more faithful to a book that is very dark and very disturbing and pretty humorless, it makes me wonder if Edgar Wright, despite saying for so long he wants to make this remake, he's clamored for it for years, is he the right choice, was the silly bit that I said about it. So we got visual aids. It took a little longer than anticipated.
Is this what you're talking about?
I'm trying to see. What's the name on the title? Is it Alexis Nolant?
Maybe not. Hang on.
There's something different, man.
Yeah, these are maybe not the same thing. That'd be really funny.
I mean, it is like the most inventive title ever for a creative project.
All right, well, sweet. Glad I went and ran and grabbed them.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool, guys. Yeah, not at all. I don't see Alexis Nolan anywhere in here. Okay, sweet. So not that the killer.
Well, whatever. It's fine.
All right, did we get through these directors? Are we ready to go to Twisted Metal yet?
Oh, well, I was trying to, kill time as much as possible because I thought we were bringing in the visual aidsy, but
Austin says sends in $2. Definitely a little drunk, but I love you guys. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's what's up. The next little bit is this new Spike Lee project. Spike Lee, another guy just like Fincher who has a really good relationship with Netflix, and they announced this Realm of Cthulhu film that he is apparently producing. So after all the Lovecraft Country hype, I guess we're getting another, obviously Spike Lee is a badass black guy, and he made my favorite movie last year, Defy Bloods. It's my favorite film of 2020. Excellent film.
That was great. Defy Bloods was awesome.
Black Klansman. The Malcolm X documentary. The guy's fantastic. But so he is apparently it is adapting. H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu is set to make a return to the screen in Gordon Hemingway and the Realm of Cthulhu. So that's the full-on title. It's apparently set in East Africa in 1928. Centers on Gordon Hemingway, a roguish black American gunslinger who teams up with the elite warrior princess Zenebe of Ethiopia to rescue the country's kidnapped region from an ancient evil. Sign me up, man. I mean, hey, if we're talking a black American gunslinger, that's what Idris Elba should have been playing. He's born for that role, for show, man. And that's not to say he was bad in the Dark Tower film. It's just the script was absolute dog shit, and I hate that movie. I thought McConaughey was terrible in that movie, too, as the Man in Black. But, I mean, yeah, I unlike Cecil, like this sort of period stuff, and Netflix always throws a lot of money at these sort of things. And apparently Stefan Bristol, who was behind the film called See You Yesterday, unfortunately, that I am not familiar with, he's going to direct this project. But and Hank Woon wrote the original screenplay. But just back to the fact that I know Chase chimed in and he was like, "Oh, creatives, being given the keys to the castle at Netflix." This is the type of stuff that excites me, though, and I'm really if Spike Lee wants to put his handprints on something fantastical like this, and not dealing with like. This is very much in the vein of that melding that we had from Lovecraft Country of we're going to get some social and some racial issues and, just commentary, which is very important stuff. And I'm very curious, maybe how we won't get as much of that based on the fact that it does take place in East Africa. So maybe it will be completely absent of that sort of approach. And this is just like fantastical, sci-fi horror. I'm down for either, You don't always have to be, that in your face like Lovecraft Country was at times, but yet I felt like it was important to the storytelling in Lovecraft Country based on the time and the areas of America that it was set. So bring on the Realm of Cthulhu. I'm excited for that. And the last directorial bit that we're going to make mention of, because we're actually going to be doing that Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead tomorrow, so we can talk at length about that when we do the trailer. The teaser comes tomorrow morning, but this one really got me pumped, because Viggo Mortensen did a pair of films with none other than David Cronenberg, when Cronenberg was shifting from the fantastical body horror into more grounded storytelling. He did A History of Violence and he did Eastern Promises, both with Viggo. They were both excellent films. I think I prefer History of Violence a little bit more. It's got that Unforgiven sort of vibe to it, which I really dug. I think they're both based on graphic novels, but the thing that Viggo said, he is re-teaming with Cronenberg, and he has described this new film as Cronenberg going back to his origins, and it is supposedly, I guess he wrote it a very long time ago, says Mortensen, and he never got it made. Now he's refined it, and he wants to shoot it. Hopefully this summer we'll be filming. I would say, without giving the story away, he's going way back to his origins. It's disturbing and it's good, I think, but since his origins, he's obviously developed in terms of technique and self-assurance as a director. So, I mean, the same guy who made Shivers and Rabbit and Videodrome and Fly and all that great shit. Obviously, the Dead Zone was more of a commercial sort of release, but he's a much more polished filmmaker at this particular point. And so taking in this refined approach and going into a down and dirty, presumably disturbing story, and with Viggo, one of the best working actors out there, I mean, shit, yeah, who would not want to see that? Chime in the chat with your thoughts on these two getting back together. Pretty stoked. Pretty stoked.
I mean, I'm interested in anything that these directors are going to do, quite frankly, and I'm excited about the Army of the Dead trailer tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be good, guys. We are going to be doing a trailer reaction for the Army of the Dead tomorrow. We'll try and get it done as quickly as possible. Quite frankly, it kind of depends on when Fuego wakes up in the morning as to how early we get this thing done. So
you're a much earlier riser because you have a kid now and stuff.
I know I don't have a choice. It's 5:30 or nothing, baby. But honest to God, let me be frank with you, Fuego. It is a lot easier.
Can I still be Fuego?
You can, yeah. Can I still be Garth? No. It is a lot easier to wake up at 5:30 in the morning when you have a little human that just smiles when he sees you in the morning.
Jeez, you're melting my heart over here.
Dude, she gets up and she goes to the restroom and leaves him in the bed under the covers, and I hear him just go, "Ugh," and I go over and I'm like, "Hey, son," and I always put my finger in his hand. I put my finger in his hand and he grabs my finger. And then he looks over at me and he smiles big. Oh, I love it so much. It's so fucking great. Yeah, Brad, I had a kid in December, so I have my first son. It's pretty exciting. I'm a very happy man. All right, so Fuego, let's get into the one of the.
What up, Jason Chamberlain?
Oh, Jason Chamberlain's here. What's up, Jason?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Jason's got a son. He understands.
Yeah,
He's
Jason,
got it.
we miss you, man. Did you see, Jason, that they postponed Phoenix Comic-Con
till next. Holy shit, Ms. Marie!
Next January.
Damn!
Oh,
she just sent a $50 super chat. Holy shit!
Wow.
Thank you so much. Damn, I'm gonna have to throw a little something special into your. I'm gonna have to throw something special into Ms. Marie's boogie box. Holy fuck! Thank you, Ms. Marie. Oh, love that about your son. Dude, Ms. Marie, it is really amazing. Having a son is a trip in the best of ways. Like, he is, when he looks at me, because he'll be like, and then he'll see me and he'll be like, hey. And it's just the funniest fucking thing to me. Like, I can watch my son's face like it's an Oscar-winning movie. Like, literally, I can just watch him absorb life and get used to things, and I just absolutely love it. So, Alex Herndon says, more son talk. God, I just love it. I really am a proud papa. He's so big. He's wearing, like, he can't even wear 3 to 6 month things now. He's wearing 6-month-old things, and he's like 2.5 months. He is a big baby. He's in the 80th percentile for weight, 90th percentile for height. He's going to be a big baby, but he's
going to take after dad and be a big foreboding presence.
Dude, he's fucking awesome. But yeah, anyway, it is surreal stuff, Neuro. You're absolutely right. All right, yeah. So what I wanted to get into, though, after this is the, like Fuego mentioned, there is a Twisted Metal series in the works from the Deadpool writers. And as someone that cosplays as Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal, this is very, very, very exciting for me. I not only cosplay as Sweet Tooth, but I actually have a line on a vehicle that someone is selling in the Mesa area that I could convert into his vehicle down there. I could convert this vehicle into Sweet Tooth's ice cream truck very, very easily, and I am very tempted to do it.
Dude, all the sons, like, Phoenix Spear and Mad Monster, you could be out there with the Ghostbusters car and with all that different chisel with Baby.
I would too. I would absolutely be. Yeah. Good night, Hal. LOL sitting next to me.
Nighty.
Good night, Hal. Thank you for joining, Hal. I appreciate that. You and Sandra are awesome. Yeah, dude, what? Twisted Metal series? Give me Mr. Grimm right now.
Yeah.
Dude, and that's the thing. Like, I love Twisted Metal so much. Twisted Metal Black is my favorite because that was the PS2, like, dark dive into the Twisted Metal lore. But the Twisted Metal in 2013 was also really good. Both of them had different Sweet Tooth stories, and both of them are stories that are worth investigating. So I am just super excited about this announcement and the fact that I'm going to be able to get more use out of my Sweet Tooth cosplay. Let me see if I can get... I'll pull up a picture for everyone for my Sweet Tooth cosplay if I have one relatively accessible.
I saw something funny on Twitter the other day when this was first announced, and they were like, okay, without Googling, name a Twisted Metal character besides Sweet Tooth right now. I thought that was pretty funny, man, because he's obviously the face of the franchise, and I never played any of them because I'm so anti-Sony, as you know, and make fun of me about it all the time. But it is Sony Pictures TV and PlayStation Productions that are developing this. It is being described as a action comedy, go figure. No surprise there. And Deadline notes, the show is about a motor-mouthed outsider who is offered a chance at a better life, but only if he can successfully deliver a mysterious package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland with the help of a trigger-happy car thief. He'll face savage marauders, driving vehicles of destruction, and other dangers of the open road. Sounds kind of like Blood Drive a little bit, including a deranged clown who drives an ice cream truck, whom fans of the show will know as Sweet Tooth. So Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, the Zombieland guys and the Deadpool guys, I'm guessing are they going to direct or maybe just develop? Because they're also saying here that Michael Jonathan Smith, who's from Cobra Kai, is the one who's actually writing it. So I'm guessing maybe the Zombieland guys are going to step in and direct as a duo.
I don't know. I've heard that. I've heard that the Cobra Kai guys are writers as well, which is still good for me.
Yeah, a lot of talent here, man, and I mean, it makes me wonder if it's going to be more subdued, PG-13ish, or if they'll go R. And I guess we'll probably know a little bit better how that pans out when we see what destination it lands on to be streamed or whatever. So whatever.
Shit, I can't find pics of me as Sweet Tooth.
Oh, I know they're on the Face Beezies, man.
Are they on the Facebook? Okay.
Oh yeah, I know they're
No, you're right. Let me pull it up on the Face Beezies, as you say.
Yeah. While you continue to look, though, just a couple other lightning round things. Who was excited about the Diablo 3 Resurrected? The remaster
Diablo
of Diablo
2
was announced.
Yeah.
Yes. I played the shit out of Diablo 2 as a necromancer. Beat the entire campaign. I spent so much time in high school with that game. The graphics look a lot better, but maybe just based on that overhead perspective, it doesn't look quite. I mean, it's not an absolute revelation, but it does look significantly cleaned up and sharper. And yeah, man, I'm very, very much tempted. Although with games of that length, I mean, it's why I don't buy the new Zelda games, because I'm just like, do I have time to dedicate to something like this? I don't know, but yeah, it does look pretty badass. It's going to have the Lords of Destruction.
Should be back on. Give it just a second.
Okay.
So lame. All right, so, and we're back, Zealot says. Okay. Yeah, sorry guys. I tried to load in a picture and it crashed the entire stream. I was trying to load in a picture of me as Sweet Tooth, and it was like, nope, fuck you.
Fuck you. You're cool.
You're cool. I'm out.
Yeah.
So anyway, Fuego. I'm very excited about the Twisted Metal news. I love the Twisted Metal franchise. The fact, if they can actually pay attention and like, God, in my perfect world, every episode would be the origin story of a new character, and then it would all build up to a big freaking, crackdown showdown in the final episode. I don't know. Yeah, Zealot, you're probably the youngin' at 28. I hate to say that.
Saying badass and stop, badass and stop.
All right, so let's go to the last story then.
Yes, which you're going to take the lead on.
I will indeed. So this is something that I talked to with Jay from Bloodbath and Beyond when we did our Drunk and Disorderly stream last week or the week before. So that is likely going to be a regular thing on the channel. I'm going to try and do it monthly with Jay, where we're just going to have some booze and talk about shit. And Fuego, if you want to join, you're welcome to. I tried to have you join that night, but obviously it was a short notice thing. So
I was having car issues, remember?
yeah, true. So, but nonetheless, I intend to make it a monthly thing. We can just all get drunk and get disorderly. Jay and I weren't nearly as disorderly as I mean us to be in the future. So,
you've seen me before. So.
Yeah, I've seen you disorderly. Yeah, we'll get to it. But this is one of the stories. One of the stories I covered with him, and that is the fact that Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn and the Spawn comic book and character, he has said that he is planning on launching the Spawn universe. He sees the success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he says that, you know, he believes in the power of Spawn in creating a similar sort of universe. He said that he holds true on the promise that he made that he would never renumber the Spawn comic book. So Spawn has been going for over 330 issues at this point, and Todd said, I will never renumber this book and start it from scratch just to get new readers, the way Marvel and DC do their books all too often. Yeah. Not only did he say that, but he said it's been doing so well that now he plans to expand it into the Spawn universe, where it's going to be like 3 or 4 titles, and he is bringing in writer Donny Cates, who actually did the Venom run ever since the Venom book relaunched a few years ago, all the way up until the current Venom story, which is King in Black, which we actually on this channel did a dramatic reading of Venom number 4, which is the origin of Neill, who is the main antagonist of this current King in Black storyline. So we cover Donny Cates' stuff, and he is going to be helping out Todd to develop this Spawn universe. And one of the things is there's going to be the female Spawn, which you see in the middle. There is a new female Spawn that has joined the world. There is a big bruiser Spawn on the left side. There is the Omega Spawn on the right side. So there's King Spawn, Omega Spawn, and then at the end of the most recent issue, there is a giant Shadow Spawn that has emerged from the darkness of hell. So he is expanding the Spawn universe within its own comic big time. And so he's going to be starting, I think there's going to be 3 or 4 different titles in this Spawn universe, including Spawn and Spawn Universe. Plus, you know, there might be a medieval Spawn because they've brought medieval Spawn into the current continuity. And they've also brought the Gunslinger Spawn that Mike Seifert has been cosplaying as for the last 5 years into the current continuity. So Spawn is having a Spawnaissance, and I am all about it, and I think it's great. If Todd ever gets around to actually making his dark Spawn movie that he's wanted to make for years, like imagine the Spawn movie from the 90s, but with the intricacies and aesthetics of the Spawn HBO series. That's what I'm looking forward to, and that's what would be amazing.
Oh, the Spawn HBO series is the quintessential adaptation of the property, 100%, man. I absolutely adore it. So are all of these going to be ongoings or limited series, or did we get? He hasn't specified.
I believe Universe will be ongoing.
Because this is where I kind of got to roll my eyes at Todd a little bit. Because I remember in the late 90s, early 2000s when we had Spawn Dark Ages, we had Hellspawn, we had Spawn the Undead, we had Sam and Twitch, we had all these.
Spawn the Undead. Spawn. I almost jizz every time I think about those 9 issues. Those 9 issues, guys. If you have never read Spawn the Undead,
right?
It was the anthology one where Spawn, in the main continuity, Spawn had become an agent of balance. He no longer fought for heaven, and he did not fight for hell. He literally just was the balance keeper. So if angels or demons stepped into our reality and tried to sway humans one way or another towards heaven or hell, Spawn in those 9 issues would step in and stop and reset that balance. So if an angel tried to recruit someone, he would step in and stop that recruitment. If the demon would try and destroy the planet via one person, Spawn would step in and stop that demon from doing so. It was the most complex yet amazing Spawn book ever, look up and seek out Spawn the Undead 1 through 9. They are some of the best comics you will ever fucking read, period.
I thought Spawn the Dark Age was terrific too. I mean,
that was medieval Spawn. Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked all the Sam and Twitch stuff too, man. I mean, I was all about
Sam and Twitch was great. That was Brian Bendis.
Files too. Yeah,
Brian Bendis introduced Spawn. Sam and Twitch to everyone. So I'm taking a picture. I'm gonna try and load in a Spawn the Undead picture to show people.
I'm trying to remember, man, because I know they did Spawn. They did what? Medieval Spawn, Witchblade. They did Violator had his own series. Yep. They had Curse of the Spawn. I think that was the first.
There was like 19 issues of Curse of Spawn.
Yeah, dude, and I think they did a Psych War. So he's done this big universe expansion. Maybe they just didn't really cross over as much. They were their own separate little things as opposed to the shared universe, even though it technically was a shared universe. Maybe this is just, Todd trying to ramp up some. I just found the art, or at least a article about this, and he's also saying, God, they said it in the headline.
I just pulled up the first issue of Spawn the Undead. If you guys are curious what that cover looks like, Spawn the Undead is fucking good. And by the way, Fuego, here's the thing: guess who's returning to Spawn this year? Greg Capullo. Greg Capullo is coming back to do the artwork for Spawn again.
So he's finding time, besides all the work he's done with...
he got away from Batman. He's done with Batman.
Well, not Batman. He's working with Scott Snyder on that new sci-fi book that I'm really excited about.
Oh, yeah. That's Greg Capullo can do numerous monthly books. That's just one of them.
Yeah, he's just that talented. Okay, so...
Yeah, Neuro, a.k.a. Jubei, is completely correct. Spawn has some of the best covers of any comic book ever.
Oh, yeah.
The Spawn as an angel cover is one of the best fucking pieces of art you'll ever get your eyes on.
Isn't that just Redeemer, though? I mean...
No, because Spawn gets wings.
Equivalent.
No, Spawn gets wings for like 3 issues. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to show it.
Okay. Cool. No, but what I was seeing here, so Spawn Universe is going to be one book. Boy, I'm definitely not in love with it.
So that's the Spawn. That's the Spawn Angel by the artist is Brian Haberlin. So that's Spawn with angel wings when he was briefly an agent of heaven. Fuck it! How cool is that artwork? See, that's the thing. People don't realize how awesome Spawn really got. Like in the first 200 issues of Spawn, outside of like 30 of the issues, it was fan-fucking-tastic. And anything with him, Todd McFarlane and Greg Capullo, it's just amazing, amazing stuff. So I've just been the guy that's been hanging on with Spawn, getting every issue, hoping it gets back to its glory days. And unfortunately, it's been rough for a really long time. But now they finally started getting back to the roots. And like some of the original... Like recently Spawn had raised from the dead a bunch of his former villains.
Soldier book? Oh,
yeah, no. So Overkill, there was a zombie Overkill, there was a zombie Freak, there was a zombie, and in fact, Billy, the ice cream man from the very first arc of Spawn came back. Like, dude, Spawn has been awesome. So the fact
that equivalent of Star Wars, the sequel trilogy, where you're like bringing back some of the old characters.
Yeah. Except way better than that.
No, so I was going to ask about. So you mentioned the Gunslinger Spawn. What's this King Spawn book? Did you say something about that and I just missed it? Because I don't know what the hell that
King Spawn is another character. So I don't know if this guy. I think the Bruiser on the left might be King Spawn. The guy on the right is Omega Spawn, and he just got a giant knife through the forehead in the most recent issue. So, like there's a bunch of Spawn. So what happened is there was a big event that Al caused, right? Because Al died in issue 184 of Spawn. He blew his own head off. Al committed suicide and blew off his own head in issue 184 of Spawn. and then a new guy took over until like issue 220, and then Al was resurrected, and so Al is now Spawn again. But they've done so many different things, and when Al did something recently in a Spawn book, it opened a rift, and through the rift, a bunch of different spawns have emerged. The medieval Spawn has arrived. The gunslinger Spawn has arrived. The female Spawn in the middle of the artwork here has arrived. Omega Spawn has arrived. King Spawn has arrived.
Periods of history.
Like a multitudes of spawns have now arrived in today's day and age, and that's what Todd is going to be exploring. And Clown, Dr. Death, enough from Clown, he says, Clown was just killed, like for good, like 3 issues ago. Clown was completely taken out by Al. So Clown is done.
He's been around this whole time?
Oh, yeah, Clown's been around. Yeah. Because he hasn't always been Clown.
Violator? Or
yeah,
no?
Yep. Violator's done. Clown and Violator are done. Yeah,
Crazy.
it's been fucking cool. Like, that's the
it's
nice
almost
thing.
Like,
Todd rewards
like
long-term
though,
readers. Right? It is like Supernatural.
Where it's like nobody's ever really dead unless it's the series finale.
No, yeah, you're 100% right. That is the way of Spawn, and that's you know, look.
Probably why I like the show so much, man, because I was so into Spawn in the 90s as a kid.
Oh my god, the Spawn HBO show is one of the best animated shows of all time, especially talking about adult shit. Why did they kill him? Tiki Balls asks. Look, Spawn is such a great and huge lore that is worth exploring, and my god, it's just amazing. So I'm excited about Spawn Universe. You didn't even plan to cover it, but I personally think it's a big enough story that it's worth covering.
Oh yeah, no, if I did, it just didn't show up because I don't really frequent a lot of the comic book sites. Now, Comic News will jump into stuff, but I'm more so on, you know, Collider, Coming Soon Net, and then the bigger trades like, you know, THR and Variety and Deadline, shit like that. But
so I got hiccups, but I got to do something for one of our viewers. Hang on. Hang on. This is for who is this for? Hang on.
Who is
this? Is a response to someone. This is for Neuro. Neuro, aka Jube. Ready for you? Carry on my wayward Spawn. There'll be demons when you are done.
Lay your burnt ass face to rest.
Don't you cry, no. Don't you die no more. Fuck, how did I miss that? That's perfect. God damn it. All right, so I don't know, Fuego. I think that's as good a place to end as possible.
It is. We covered everything until tomorrow morning with yes, Zack Snyder's return to R-rated zombie horror. First teaser tomorrow morning. Can't wait to see how it's all looking. But
indeed. So Fuego and I will be back tomorrow with our reaction to the Army of the Dead trailer. Thank you guys.
Schmurly.
What?
I said Bright and Schmurly.
Bright and Schmurly. Yeah. Get your ass up. My son will make sure I'm up, so it's up to you. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. We actually had quite a few, constant viewers, at least 40 to 50 the entire time. Thank you very much for watching, and of course, thank you once again to Ms. Marie and Crystal, 2 of our Boogie Box long-term supporters for the channel. You guys are awesome. If you guys want to become Boogie Box patrons or patrons at all, the link is in the description box down below. You can request things from us and get things from us as well. But guys, this was really fun, and we're going to be back, Fuego and I, not only doing the trailer reaction tomorrow, but on Sunday we'll be back doing a live recap of all the horror movies that we've watched that, frankly, we just don't think are worth taking a whole review's time worth for. Right? I'm drunk.
There was a few that were borderline, but since we watch so much stuff at this particular point, plus we're so backlogged on Patreon stuff, we try to migrate over to the main channel. It's kind of like you have to pick and choose because there's just so much shit out there between streaming services, direct to VOD, any occasional theatrical thing coming out right now. I mean, I'm already up to almost 50 new movies I've watched. A lot of them were just so far this year. Because I don't watch as much TV as a lot of people. I like how movies just one and done, and
Yeah,
what
you know,
else?
special shout out to Jason Chamberlain.
Amen, man.
He said, we are all in the Con crew. I met them years ago at Con and through BRA, which is the Blue Ribbon Army. Yeah. Jason is a long-term friend of the show. He was in on our Ash stuff, on any Evil Dead stuff, any supernatural stuff. He was chiming in on. Jason is a long-term bro of the channel, and and we greatly appreciate him and everyone like him for it. So, fantastic updates, so much to look forward to. Thank you guys very much. We'll be back again to hang out on Sunday if you want. Otherwise, look out for our reaction to Army of the Dead tomorrow. Thank you so much to Fuego for enduring my silliness tonight.
I just didn't want to get up and run in the other room. I'm trained, man.
It's good. Crystal asks one last question. Sandra, goodnight, Soren. Sandra actually remembered my son's name. Thank you, Sandra.
Oh.
That hits in the feels.
Better be sleeping already.
Oh, he's way asleep, unless my ass woke him up, which wouldn't surprise me either. But Crystal asks, what's the best horror comics? I don't know if I told you this, Cecil, but I just read Hell House right before you sent it in the book. Well, Crystal, I have something I can send you in your next Boogie Box. I didn't send it in this one, but I have something cool I'll send you in the next one if you're a fan of the horror comics.
American Vampire.
Yeah, Hell House is pretty cool. It's an adaptation of an old school horror book. I just recently read that myself, and that's good too. So, Crystal, thank you for everything. I'm gonna send you some good stuff in the next couple boxes. So, you guys rock. Thank you, Jason. Thank you to Joshua. Thank you, Zealot, for being a new come over from Bloodbath and Beyond. We appreciate you. Crystal, we did nothing to keep you alive one more night. You're amazing. You're strong. Mm-hmm. Thank you for getting through COVID. And please, by all means, you have my email. I emailed you to get your address. Send me your address. We'll send you the Boogie Box. But even outside of that, if you ever need anything from us, you got a friend in the horror show.
Yes. Be strong, be safe, and we appreciate the hell out of you.
Indeed. So, love you guys very much. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, Jaime en Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.